Hello, welcome to Beyond the Boundary. My name is Josh. It's fantastic to have you on board yet again for round 18.5. I'm going to start to my left this time. We've got Vinay on my left. How are you, mate?
I'm very good, Josh. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, thank you. I always go to my right, so I thought I'd go to my left this time.
Good call.
And Nick, on my right. How are you, mate?
I'm a bit uneasy after you've started to the left. It's through me.
Just leave the worst for last.
Just throw things up as we always do here on Beyond the Boundary.
Leave the worst for last.
Our tips, boys. I don't think we're in the only boat who had an ordinary week of tipping.
Oh, yeah.
That didn't make a lot of sense, but
3 out of 5 I got. Josh got 3 out of 5. Vinay got 4 out of 5.
he did.
Finally
Pick the
brought
Blues.
one back.
The Blue Baggers, yeah.
Well done.
They got up, yep.
Good pick.
Yep.
And
Happy with that one?
I'm very happy with that one. I did suspect that North would, the other North would show up against Carlton.
You brought up the ton. Well done.
I have.
Raise the bat.
Took me a while to get there, yeah, thank you. Raise the pen.
I'm still leading by 1 as I have for, I think, since the very first round. So.
No.
Round 2 was it?
No, it was about round 4, I think.
I'll tell you what, he's gone into defence mode ever since he got that 1 point lead.
Yes.
He'll never tip anyone different to what you or I tip.
Well, I think he will this week.
He has to, yeah, he does. We're going to
Absolute-
pants him this week, but let's continue, boys.
Absolute bollocks.
I'm very excited for this round.
Remember, on Friday we'll release our tips again.
Just in case we change anything.
Our confirmed tips,
Yeah.
which is quite possible this week. I'm not sure about a couple of tips, so we'll wait and see.
Exactly, yeah.
First game of the round, it's West Coast versus Richmond, Friday night at Patterson Stadium. Last time these two teams met, it was Richmond by 41 points, Gus.
Yeah, had their week's rest.
They did. The Eagles, they had a training session after their match against Brisbane. They flew back. They had a training session recovery. They were one of the few clubs that actually did a training session afterwards. Most clubs just went straight into their break.
Okay.
And then the Eagles went into a break. So they've had a nice little break to get away from things. Coxie's retired as well. Announced his retirement.
Brilliant career.
Oh, an unbelievable career. As far as I'm concerned, without speaking with any bias, I rank him as the greatest ruckman of all time as far as I'm concerned.
That you've seen?
That I've seen, yes. That I've seen, yeah. Just his impact, the way he goes about it, his leadership both on and off the field, unprecedented. And that's touched on in news and views, actually, so have a look at that. But, yeah, the Eagles, Shannon Hearn came out during the week and said that even though finals is an extremely slim possibility, they're still aiming for that.
Yep.
Because, as we mentioned last episode, they realise that all the teams they're playing now are the teams directly above them on the ladder. So anything's possible, and the Eagles know that. Yep, so the Eagles know that. The game against Brisbane, it was a very scrappy game. It wasn't, a very fluent kind of moving game. The Eagles never looked like losing. They were usually, at least 2 goals ahead. They ended up winning by 2 goals. Luke Shuey went untagged the whole night and showed what he can do when he's untagged. He had 30 touches and a goal. And
2 goals, wasn't it?
2 goals, sorry. Yeah, he's just a very dangerous player when he's not tagged, and I would expect Richmond.
Luke Shuey, mate. This is off paper and everything. This is impromptu question.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rumours going around that Luke Shuey wants to come home.
Oh, okay, interesting.
There's a captaincy spot open.
What do you mean?
At West Coast?
At West Coast.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about some Melbourne side that he wanted. No, Luke Shuey, I'm very, very confident will not leave. He really, really enjoys West Coast. Most of the players, pretty much all the players at West Coast are very satisfied with the way they're there. Andrew Gaff as well, a lot of rumours circulated about him. But he's come out and said that West Coast is his home. He's not going anywhere.
Yep.
I don't see Shuey getting the captaincy
Yep.
at all. I don't think he'd even be in the mix. He'd probably end up...
Oh, really?
No. I think he'll be promoted to the leadership group.
Yep.
But the captain is, I see, being one of probably Shannon Hearn, Scott Selwood, or probably... Depends on Waters comes back or not as well.
Yep.
Because if he comes back fit and firing, he's my first choice captain.
Pritis
as well, yeah. He's up there as well. So there are a number of, and Eric McKenzie as well. So there are a number of names being thrown around. My tip would be Shannon Hearn.
Yep.
Because he's been doing a lot of press conferences recently and he's got a lot of support. So he's the guy I'd go with. On Matt Pritis, got a tag against Brisbane and he still finished with 28 touches and 6 tackles.
Underrated in my opinion.
Oh, he's just an absolute star. I love watching him. He's in and under work. He's unparalleled. Scott Lysette, on Coxie's retirement, a big reason that I think Coxie would have done it is so Lysette stays at West Coast.
Yep.
I think that's a big reason that he didn't actually say, but I think that's what the reason was behind it. He had 19 disposals against Brisbane, playing in the ruck, and had 17 hitouts, giving Nic Nat a chop out. I think those are really, really good figures, to be honest. They tired out Stephen Martin, and they clearly beat him in the ruck and around the ground. So I think they're definitely poised very well. Lysette will definitely play now, which is very, very good to see from an Eagles perspective.
Moving on to the Tigers, boys. Big win over Port Adelaide 2 weeks ago now. Dustin Martin was very, very good.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a very consistent year, as Dustin Martin, and even the skipper has come into some really good form in Trent Cotchin in the last month as well. But as I said last week, they're doing what they do best and they're leaving it too late. It's just frustrating to see the Tigers play a really good brand of footy in the last month, and it's just too little too late.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, yeah.
But Dan Jackson and Ricky Pettit have already been ruled out for this week.
Have they?
Yeah, Dan Jackson's got a glute problem.
Well, he's their number one tagger, I believe.
One of,
I think he's
one of their taggers.
Probably their best tagger, if you compare him to the others.
And Pettit hasn't been in too bad a form, so...
It's interesting because he's also a tagger.
He's gone out with a finger injury, so...
Yeah, so they've lost two of their major taggers. And I think Reece Conker, I'm not sure what's up with him. He was concussed.
Conker copped a knock. He's obviously had the week to
recuperate
and be fine, so I think he'll play, so...
Okay, yeah.
What do we think of Cotchin's form at the moment? It's
interesting.
He's been up and down this season. He was questioned for his leadership earlier in the year by us and many other media outlets as well. But come back into a good vein of form at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. The aspect that he lost earlier in the year was he wasn't kicking goals, where last year he kind of was. Yeah. More so than what he is this year.
Yeah.
And I think in the last month he's been able to kick some goals.
Oh yeah.
And that has a real impact on the rest of the side as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
All midfielders. I mean, I'm massive on goal kicking midfielders.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
They're the most valuable type of players in the competition.
Definitely.
I agree with that. Yeah. The more goals he kicks out of the midfield, the better. So he's been absolutely fantastic. Another one I want to touch on is Brendan Ellis. He continues to have a fantastic year.
Yeah.
Alex Rance was also very good on Jay Schultz.
He was
2 weeks ago as well.
And Josh Kennedy will return this week for the West Coast Eagles.
He will after suspension. So he's got a very big task on his hands as Alex Rance holding Josh Kennedy.
Yep, definitely.
Who are we tipping this one, guys?
All right, I'll go first. One thing I wanted to ask about Richmond. I've forgotten what it was, but it was something important.
Interesting.
Couldn't have been that important since you forgot it.
Yep, I think I forgot.
Are they going to win is the question.
Are they going to win? That is the big question. I think... Oh, there it is. Anthony Miles.
Yeah.
Just quickly on him. He's been spectacular, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been absolutely exceptional. Richmond brought him in because they needed another inside mid, a big-bodied inside mid. He's averaging 6 tackles, 28 touches a game. Oh, he's just adding to that versatility of the Richmond midfield. So be interesting to see how West Coast deal with him. Lenny Hayes retiring had a big impact on the Sainers. Had a big impact on them.
Dean Cox might do the same for the Eagles?
I think Dean Cox might do the same. They're 6 games apart, Dean Cox and Lenny Hayes. They're very similar personality, very respected on and off the field. And honestly, I just think the Eagles are a better side than Richmond at the moment. They almost had the Swans at Patterson's. And to be honest, I don't see what's stopping them from beating Richmond, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm tipping West Coast by 20 points.
Yeah, I've gone West Coast as well. 22 points in the margin for me. Very good point on Cox there. You saw what that did to St Kilda on the weekend, and hopefully West Coast can do the same.
I would tip the Tigers, boys.
Oh, no.
They love Patterson Stadium. They went over there last year and beat your boys comfortably.
They did.
And they took Fremantle.
Although that was a different Tiger outfit.
It was. And they took Fremantle to a point over there and probably should have won that game over there as well. So they love the wide open space of Patterson Stadium, and I reckon they'll get it done by 10 points.
All right. No worries.
Which could change.
Brisbane versus Gold Coast, Saturday afternoon at the Gabba. Last time those two teams played, it was Gold Coast by 53 points.
Yeah, well, the Suns got touched up a bit by the Doggies a couple of weeks ago.
They did, yeah.
No Gaz.
Well, the Doggies are a much better side than what many people thought they were.
Oh, yeah.
But we did actually say that they would pull a few scalps. But Gold Coast, you're right, they got pantsed. They were playing well for most of the game, weren't they? They were winning. And then all of a sudden they
stuck there for a half, yeah.
They ran out of legs, and you can put that down to whatever you want, tiredness of the week before, because that does have a big impact.
I think that's a big point there. The fact that they had no legs to choose from in the last quarter of the week before, they've given their most famous victory has been pumped up as, and then they've got to back it up against the Doggies.
And it's a hard running, fast moving kind of doggies as well, which we saw them do last night. But it's at the Gabba, so it makes this game a little bit more interesting, does it? If it was at Metricon, then it seems like an open and shut kind of case.
It's only an hour down the road, so...
It is, but it's the Gabba. For Brisbane, an hour down the road is a win between North versus a loss to North by 80 points. Well, you know what I'm talking about?
The way I look at this game, both teams have got a lot to play for. You look at teams down the bottom end of the ladder and you think, are they really trying? Maybe they do sneakily want that first or second draft pick there, but they don't. Obviously, they don't want the wooden spoon. But then there's... Add
to the old collection, yeah.
But then there's Gold Coast, who are teetering on the edge of the finals there. I think they're 9th position at the moment.
Yes.
So they're out of the 8.
Yeah, so they'll be desperate to get back in there.
Yeah.
So we could actually see a big performance from both teams in this game.
Absolutely. Well, considering St Kilda's big win over Fremantle, that bottom spot is almost...
It blows it
up for grabs, you can say.
It's almost as though the clubs at the bottom of the ladder are deliberately trying to, cause some confusion and disarray up at the top of the ladder by getting these scalp victories, which was making it just all that more interesting.
Terrific news today, boys, as well. Rowan Buick and Nick Robertson have signed 2-year deals. Wow. So they had massive trouble keeping their young players. I mean, Buick's been there a little bit.
But how good's that from Nick Robertson?
Nick Robertson
this year as well.
So he's already got a 2-year contract extension on top of that. So he's there till 2017, I believe.
Well, that would be... You'd think Lewis Taylor's the one that they'd want to...
Lewis Taylor and James Aish are the two they want to
big ones.
Lock away on big contracts.
Yep. I'd look at longer contracts. If you've given
long contracts.
You're right, because if they've given Robertson and Buick 2 years, did you say? I'd be looking to get Aish and...
Three
I think Lewis Taylor especially has been an absolute gem
he's
there.
a star.
I know Vinay's a big fan of his.
Massive.
He's a massive chance for the rising star.
Well, the director of football of the Geelong Falcons said that he's the best footballer that he has seen come out of that team. This is a man who has seen Ablett, Bartel, Hodge, Dangerfield, Lewis. He's seen his fair share of talent.
It sounds ridiculous now, but Ablett started as a small forward.
He did, yeah, of course he did.
Lewis Taylor's making a huge impact in his first season as a small forward.
He is,
absolutely.
You never know, but Tom Rockcliffe returns, boys. There's a big point.
Massive, absolutely massive.
Huge inclusion for them.
Speaking about rising stars, boys, Cade Collar-Jasny, he's may got a miss. He may get up
because of he's got a hamstring. That's it. Yeah.
He's missed a couple of games this year. I personally feel at the moment he's the favourite for the rising star.
Okay.
Yep. I think he's been the best performed. Tom Langdon's dropped off a bit.
I think Marcus Bottom-Telly would be up there as well.
Bontempelli's had a good month.
Correct.
He's
coming hard. He's doing a Franklin.
He's coming home very hard, but he's had a good month. So, but missing these games may cost Collar-Jasny the rising star, in my opinion.
He had ice on it. It was late. It was midway through the last quarter that he got subbed off.
Yeah.
And he had very, very heavy ice strapped onto it. So, take that for what you will, but you'd hope he gets up and plays against the Lions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are we tipping in this game, guys?
Are we tipping Gold Coast or Tom Rockcliffe?
Ryan Lester plays his 50th game, by the way, so congrats to him.
For the Tom Rockcliffe Lions, good on him.
I can't tip Brisbane.
You can't?
Gold Coast just got too much to play for.
That's a good point.
I think their midfield will be too strong, Gold Coast.
Yep.
I mean, Brisbane have lost Redden, Rich at the start of the year. Their main player is Rockcliffe.
Yep.
Shut him down, I think they'll be okay. So,
Gold
Coast by 17 for me.
I don't know, boys. I'm going to go Gold Coast by 1, but I might change that.
Solitary point.
I might change that, to be honest, because Gold Coast have had 2 very high-intensity, tiring games in a row, and they're travelling again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And Rockcliffe is huge inclusion.
I reckon we'll see 2 winners in this game, guys. I think Gold Coast will win by 30 points. They'll take home the 4 points.
Who's the second winner?
And Brisbane will win the number 1 draft pick. Which they'll be pretty happy about that as well, I reckon. Well, we haven't exactly seen Brisbane put on the kind of performance we saw St Kilda put up on the weekend. So
Not yet, anyway.
So that's the reasoning there. Next game of the round.
Oh my goodness!
Hawthorn versus Sydney. Saturday night at the MCG, which could be absolutely key.
I'll tip this to be the game of the year.
Last time these 2 teams played, it was Sydney by 19 points, guys. Start off with Hawthorn. They defeated the Crows by 12 points 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely. Joe Roughhead, absolute champion, plays game 200.
Yep.
Ben McAvoy, he's only played about 7 games at Hawthorn, I think, but he plays his 100th game. Massive inclusion that was confirmed today for the Hawks, and that is Josh Gibson. Massive inclusion. With Brian Lake out as well, with obviously Buddy, Tippett's a possibility to come back, Sam Reid, who's in terrific form. Gee, it's going to be hard to hold him down.
And that Hawthorn defence has not been the Hawthorn defence of old in recent times. They have let through quite a number of goals, so it'll be interesting to see how that impacts the Golden Fist, Josh Gibson.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll tell you what, Buddy against his old team, they're good mates, aren't they? Gibson and
Best mates. They're best mates.
Yeah. They might play on each other, so they will. So there you go. That'll be Really, really, really interesting.
It'll be a packed house, and I can guarantee the Hawthorn fans will be out in their droves.
You'll be there in your Hawthorn jersey, will you, Josh? Sometimes I wonder.
What does that say?
Sam Mitchell and Luke Hodge, two of their best Hawthorn, and they're in some great form at the moment.
Absolutely, they were pivotal in their game against Hawthorn 2 weeks ago.
Against Adelaide.
Thank you. Hodge is just one of the best captains in the competition.
I agree.
Both
on
and off the field.
Yeah.
He puts his body on the line countless times.
Again and again and again, and he gets up and he lifts his team.
Just a phenomenal player.
He is. And Sam Mitchell, his inclusion, he's taken 1 week to get going. And that's what you expect from a man like Sam Mitchell. He had a so-so first week, then bang, 28 disposals, I think, last week. So he's going to be right back into it. And this is just a...
Just on Sam Mitchell, I read a stat 2 weeks ago, champion data.
All right.
That's he's the number one player in the competition, and I can see why.
Yep.
That uses his less dominant foot more often than his right.
Wow. More often than his...
51% it was, I think. It might have been the other way around, but...
Well, isn't that just phenomenal?
It was very close to being 50-50.
He's obviously a 2-footed player. I reckon the stat sheet might just have his wrong foot on the on record there.
No, what I think it is that Mitchell will obviously get a tag every week, and obviously taggers will know very well which foot.
Try and put him on the other foot.
Exactly. So they'll obviously try and get him to go onto the other foot.
But he's so lethal on that.
He's so lethal on the left that he's just starting to use that. And maybe I'll tell you what, whoever Sydney's gonna boys.
Speaking about gun players in good form, for the Swans, they defeated Carlton by 71 points 2 weeks ago. Josh Kennedy, Sam Reid, Lance Franklin, there's 3 very pivotal players for their season, were all brilliant.
Kennedy had 29 contested possessions.
That's all-time record.
Unbelievable. He'll be tagged to the stoppages, for sure.
He's phenomenal.
He is. He's coming up against his old club.
As is Ben McGlynn and Lance Franklin.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a history between these two clubs.
A reunion going on.
A bit of a reunion, but I think, as you mentioned, Josh Kennedy, he'll definitely be tagged to the stoppages. That's where I think he's most dangerous. I'm not too much concerned about what he does around the ground, although he is damaging, but his around the ground work isn't as damaging as a Dangerfield, a Pendlebury, or an Ablett.
Yep.
I think it's at the stoppages that he's unstoppable because he gives them first use every single time.
Yeah.
He will extract that ball, and you know how good Sydney are with those in-close handballs. It's just 1, 2, 3, bang, outside player is running and they're off.
Yeah.
So he must be tagged to that stoppage. And I think if Wolf Langford plays, he'll go there. Maybe even a Sean Burgoyne type player.
Liam Shields, I think, would be the one.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, Liam Shields as well. He is a very good player. But I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Burgoyne went to him. And I say that because Burgoyne himself, I think he's the greatest clearance player of all time.
Yeah.
He is. Going by stats, he's got more clearance. It is. So I think, why not put him on someone like Josh Kennedy? Because he plays a utility role anyway.
Yep.
He obviously knows where the ball's going and all that sort of thing. So that's an interesting one. Who would you tag at Sydney, Josh? At Hawthorn, Josh. That's my question.
Who would I tag at Hawthorn?
Yes.
Gee.
If anyone.
Can you come back to me?
All right.
Josh wants to have to think about it. I want to talk about the Sydney forward line because in the absence of Tippett, Lance Franklin's on fire, but Sam Reid has gone down there and now he's in some brilliant form as well.
He is.
We were worried about how that three-pronged forward attack might work, and it's with the two of them down there, it's working brilliantly at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been a massive fan of Sam Reid since he came into the competition. And
was it 5 goals he kicked against Carlton?
4.
4 goals, yeah.
4.
Played a great game.
He's just got the cleanest hands I've seen.
Reminds me a bit of Carlisle, like a more consistent kind of version of Carlisle, to be honest,
And I know he's got a couple of years to run on his contract, but if I was someone like Bulldogs or
Brisbane,
Melbourne,
to shove a nice big juicy contract under his nose.
I reckon I'd be willing to pay the rest of his contract out to get him at my club.
Oh wow! Okay. So you really, really rate him, obviously. Yeah.
Especially for those 3 clubs in particular: Brisbane, Carlton, and the
maybe even an Essendon. To be honest,
I'd love him at Essendon.
Maybe even an Essendon. To be honest with you, I understand Danaher and Carlisle are doing well, developing forward.
How many key position players do you want there?
No, but you think about it, Danaher and Carlisle are really the only real key position players. Ambrose pushes up the ground a lot. He plays that half forward role. I've seen him push up to the wings numerous times. If you've got someone like a Sam Reid down there playing a centre half forward role, and maybe one of Carl Danaher playing a forward pocket, kind of like what Jeremy Cameron does at GWS, then you've got a real team on your hands there.
This is Hawthorn Sydney, by the way. But yeah, Sam Reid is going to be a very good player. To answer your question, I've had to think about it.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you on it.
There's 2 players that come to mind.
Okay.
One is Sam Mitchell.
Okay.
and the other one's Matt Suckling.
I was just about to... Oh, good on you, Josh.
What two positions do they play?
So Matt Suckling plays off half-back and on a wing, and Sam Mitchell, inside mid.
Well, Mitchell's been playing more half-back.
But this year he's been playing inside mid. So far he has.
Not really.
He led clearances in the last game for Hawthorn.
Oh.
We'll continue. We'll get on to that later.
He's versatile.
He's a very versatile player.
Anyway, but
I think I can see the point he's trying to make.
Yes.
Suckling, Mitchell, and probably Birchall. I'll throw Birchall.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
All their run off half-back is set up by those three players.
Yes.
And they're so deadly by foot.
Yes.
You shut them down, put pressure on them, I think you'll win.
Okay, yeah. I think that's a very good point because Hawthorn, you cannot let them run. You just cannot let them run. You can't let them play the Hawthorn brand of football, which is chip, wait until someone gets loose.
Yeah.
Because if you do, that's why Geelong is so good against them, because they didn't let them do what they wanted to do. And I think that's what Sydney need to do this week.
Who are we tipping?
Big game, guys. Sydney, they've just been too good all year. I think they're obviously the most informed team in the competition. Is it 12 in a row they've won? 11 in a row?
12, some ridiculous number.
I think they'll win by 12 points.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to tip them.
Sydney?
Hawthorn.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to tip Hawthorn. This is the least surprising thing I've heard all week.
Why?
Okay, for those of you who haven't caught on yet, Nick seems to believe that Josh is a pseudo Hawthorn supporter.
He's a
closet
mad
Hawthorn
supporter. I think he's actually wearing a jersey under the Essendon top at the moment.
I'm not. I'm wearing a red top.
Anyway.
So why are you tipping
else
Hawthorn, Josh?
I just think Sydney are due for a loss.
Yep.
I know it.
Due for a loss.
Jeez, you're not letting you get
I just don't like that cliche. Go on.
Go on, Josh. Go on, Ricard. Finish it up.
Go on.
Go on.
I did. They're due for a loss.
All right. Well, I think Hawthorn will win as well. I'm going to tip them by a single point. I honestly, like Josh said, they've won a lot of games, but I also haven't seen Sydney at their best on the road. They went over to West Coast to Patterson's. They're a much, much better side than West Coast. They struggled for 3 quarters. If West Coast taking their chances, may have been a different result. And I don't know, at Richmond, the last time they came down to the MCG and played Richmond, they struggled for a half. Then they closed the game out. Same thing happened with Carlton. I don't think Hawthorn will play well for a half and then just turn off like those clubs did, like West Coast, Carlton or Richmond. I think they're a much more quality side. Josh Gibson is a huge inclusion.
But I don't think a team coming off 12 straight wins with almost securing top spot up for grabs with the risk of dropping out of top 2 and risking not having a home final is due for a loss. I don't think. On
the flip side of that, you could say that Hawthorn want to break into the top 2. So they've got something massive to play for as well.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
I just think Sydney's in such great form at the moment.
We'll
anyway,
we'll
see what's happening.
So was Fremantle.
So was Fremantle. I somehow doubt that Sydney will rest half their team when they head across to the...
It wasn't half their team. It was Sandilands, and then Ballantyne got suspended.
Yeah.
And Clancy Pierce got omitted. That's it.
It was only Sandilands and Ballantyne.
They did rest some players. Anyway, Sydney...
Oh, no.
We'll move on.
Who did they rest? Who did they rest?
I was under the impression Ballantyne had been rested, but Sandilands...
No, he was suspended. He was suspended. They had their best...
I think Nick's trying to suggest that Ballantyne deliberately got himself suspended to get the rest.
I wouldn't put it past him. Anyway.
We've got one game to go.
Collingwood versus Adelaide, Sunday afternoon at the MCG. Last time these two teams played, it was Adelaide by 21 points, guys.
Adelaide by 21 points. I remember this game. It was at Adelaide Oval, and Adelaide played very, very well.
Well, it wasn't...
It wasn't stroked his pen. We're losing the plot here.
It wasn't too long ago that Adelaide pantsed Collingwood. And Collingwood, I tell you what, they don't look like the same club anymore. And we spoke at last week's News and Views that Nathan Buckley's coaching at the moment has been uninspiring, to say the least. We talked about it against Essendon. They had no run at all, Collingwood.
As I said, it was the worst performance I've seen.
Oh, it was disgusting. They came out after half time, and I was sitting thinking, all right, maybe they'll stop using the boundaries all the time. Maybe they'll try and do what Essendon did.
Take the game on.
Take the game. No. Every time, even if they had a runner on in the middle, they looked back to the boundary. It just shocked me. And if they do that against Adelaide, who are a very attacking side, very Geelong-esque in a way, if you will, they will cut them up, Adelaide.
It's another mini final really, because both these teams are looking to secure their spot in the top 8. I mean, Collingwood's 8th.
Collingwood's 8th on 36. Adelaide's 10th on 32. They've also got Gold Coast to compete with there in 9th. So
absolutely. So it's a massive game in the context of the finals.
You're right.
I reckon if Collingwood drop this one, you can almost count them out because they're in such bad form at the moment.
Well, what are they going to do? Like, they need to find something, Collingwood.
They will be burning from that loss to Essendon, I can guarantee you that.
For sure.
They would have been waiting 2 weeks for this day, and it'll hurt even more that it's on Sunday night at 4:40.
Sunday afternoon, 4:40.
I think
I'll tell you what else will burn, the loss of Dane Swan.
Yeah, he's out for a month.
He's out for a month. Jeez. So, that's going to hurt. One of your senior leader players is gone.
I'll tell you what, though. Something that'll cool the burn. Jamie Elliott will come back in.
Ben Reid.
That
is massive.
I reckon he's an almost certainty to
I will
play.
believe it when I see it because I've been hearing he's been coming back. I think round 2 we were talking about he's coming back this week.
He's doing a Bo Waters on us, to be honest.
He's had a number of setbacks.
Well, chances are he'll probably have another one because I've been waiting all bloody year to hear about Ben Reid actually playing again.
Well, he's confirmed.
Because the VFL had a bye this week, so he didn't play.
And who's his third person you got there, Josh?
Patrick Karnesis.
Yep.
He's ready to go. He had a bit of X factor down the forward line. Can rotate through the midfield.
Has he played a game for the Pies yet?
No, he hasn't.
He suffered with osteitis pubis in the pre-season and came back about 10 weeks ago.
And he's shown some good form in the VFL. He kicked 6 goals, I think, once.
Yeah, he did. Suffered a hamstring injury and has now had a couple more games under his belt. So I think he's a massive chance to come in as well.
Now, Adelaide, they are actually in some great form at the moment.
They
really pushed Hawthorn. Patrick Dangerfield was absolutely exceptional.
Without a doubt. I mean, he had 28 contested possessions.
He had 41 disposals and 28 contested possessions, as you said. He was just spectacular. Patrick Dangerfield at his best, in my opinion, he's probably one of the best footballers I've ever seen to watch.
Yep.
When he's doing that running, carrying, tackling, And
we spoke about Josh Kennedy earlier, you say where he's really dangerous, the contested ball, but not so much around the ground.
Yep.
Patrick Dangerfield, he's almost as good with the contested ball, but around the ground, he's as good as the Pendlebury.
Excellent point.
He's right up there.
Very good point.
You look at the quicker players in the competition, but there's not a lot of muscle on them.
Yeah.
You look at Patrick Dangerfield.
He's a beefy lad.
He's a bull.
That is a perfect description of what he is.
To take Nick's favourite lover boy,
Josh
Ding.
It didn't come up last week.
Yeah, no, I missed that. My bad. Anyway,
terrible by you.
Danger
is just a bull.
He is,
and he's very, very quick. And when you got someone coming at you that quick, I mean,
I'd move. I'd be like, through you go, mate.
I mean, in our game, you don't see it very often. Big bulky blokes with a lot of speed.
It's
NRL, you'll see it time and time again,
Yeah.
but. In the AFL, it's very, very rare.
He's very athletic as well. He's got a good mark. He's just such a complete player. It's ridiculous. And I think Ryan Crowley once said that he's the hardest player that he's ever had in terms of tagging, in terms of tackling.
Yeah. Okay.
He's the hardest player to tackle. Him and Ryan Griffin, apparently, are the two most difficult players to tackle just because of how quick they are. He'll literally just rip the ball out of the contest, and if you give him a second, that's it. He's gone. He's done. You might as well watch and wait.
I give Nick a lot of stick about rating Dangerfield above Selwood.
Yep.
But the only reason I do is because Danger has pace.
I think at the moment Danger's definitely in better form.
For sure.
Well, but
that pace is just such a huge aspect to the game. On top of the fact that he's already almost as good of a player or better than Pendlebury, Selwood, and the like.
Exactly.
But then he's 20% quicker on top of that.
Yeah, that's just unbelievable.
Take the pace out of it. They're probably as level as each other.
Yeah,
and Josh, you were mentioning how it's important for midfielders to go forward and kick goals.
Yeah.
This guy does that.
He's had 2 bags of 5 this season.
Yeah, he has, yeah. He's just an unbelievable guy. And to be honest, Collingwood, Brent McCaffrey is the one that'll go to him.
Yeah.
And he'll have a tough task.
Well, McCaffrey was towed up by Dyson Heppel 2 weeks ago, so he'll be keen to bounce back strongly.
And one other player for the Crows we want to touch on, Rory Sloane's in some
Rory the Sloane, it says here. So
Rory what?
Rory the Sloane.
Rory the Sloane.
Is that all right?
Mad mate.
Well, there you go.
From Upway.
Batman.
Around my area, so...
Batman has been excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just a quality footballer. There was rumours circulating earlier in the year that he's going to come to Essendon. I don't think that'll happen.
Come off it.
You should be so lucky, Josh. I tell you what.
I hope it happens, but
what would you use him as? Rory Sloane. What are you going to use him as in your team? You've already got enough mids.
Tall forward.
You've already got enough inside mids.
Inside mid.
You've got Heppel, Watson.
Anyway, this is Adelaide.
All right. Anyway, okay. He's just a greedy fellow, this one. But anyway, Rory Sloane.
You can never have too many inside midfielders.
That's a good point. As Nick has written here, the hairy little weasel. He is a gun player, and we talk about marking midfielders, how important they are.
Yeah.
In my book, Nathan Fyfe is the #1 marking midfielder by a country mile. His contested mark is just hands and shoulders above. He could play as a stay-at-home forward. Rory Sloane is second to me. He's got an excellent leap. He's tough-nosed, I
do see some similarities between the two players in general, actually.
You do, yeah. They're both kind of, stocky-ish kind of players that are very good on the inside. They've got big mops of hair. But Rory Sloane, the number of times he goes back with the flight, you will not see him take a short step, Josh.
No.
He will not take a short step. He will take big bounds going back with the flight, and he won't stop until he's got that ball. So he's just a spectacular player.
And James Podolski plays his 100th game. It's been a great story for him. I think he made his debut at 28 years of age and finally being up the 100 here. So
he was being used as a swingman at Adelaide. He plays the first half forward and the second half down.
Playing some good footy too.
To the end of his career at Geelong, he was doing the same thing.
Boys, what do Collingwood need to win this game? Which players need to leave? Who are your key players?
Travis Cloak.
Okay, so he needs to kick how many?
6.
He needs to kick for Collingwood to get 4 points.
Well, Jamie Elliott's and Ben Reid's back, so he may not need it.
For Collingwood to get 4 points, you think Travis Cloak can kick no less than 6?
You reckon Ben Reid will play defence on Texas?
I think that's asking a bit much of Big Clokey down there. You give Adelaide a big chance, do you?
Well, go back. I hate to pull back on my own side, but you go back to Carlisle,
right?
You see what a key forward does to the rest of the side.
That's a very good point. He can.
If he plunks one early, kicks one early.
Oh, he's definitely important. I'm just not sure it's vital that he kicks 6 for them to get the 4 points.
I can't. Well, Jesse White's not doing it.
That's a very good point. No one else is doing it in the Collingwood forward line right now.
Exactly right.
So, you'd need a lot from him. Having said that, Karnizis is due to come in, and so is Jamie Elliott. Jamie Elliott is good for a good 2 to 3 goals.
Jamie Elliott's a great player.
Perhaps even 4 when he's on song. He can be very.
You say Ben Reid will finally make his return. Will he play forward or back?
I reckon he'll play in defence this week. With Adelaide's tools,
Jenkins, Walker,
Pods, Tom Lynch is down there as well.
Yeah.
I reckon he may play in defence. Especially since they're so light down there.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, yeah.
And I'd be very, very surprised if Lockie Keefe's not back in the side after their debacle 2 weeks ago.
So, boys, who are we tipping in the final game of the round?
I think Cloak will kick 6. Because I've tipped Collingwood. So.
Oh, well, all right.
Just go through the milestones quickly. Richie Douglas plays 150. As you touched on, Nick. James Podolski, Adelaide plays game 100. Scott Thompson will play game 100 consecutive.
Oh, wow.
If he's selected, he did have a hamstring complaint
2
weeks ago.
Oh, no.
So if he does play, it's the second best streak currently in the AFL.
Yeah.
And if Jamie Elliott does play, he plays game 50. So
yeah.
But I would take Collingwood by 16 points.
I'm going to tip Collingwood by 4 points to give Adelaide a big chance here, but I think there's just more on the line for Collingwood.
Just quickly, boys, the key player that I think, Heritia Lumumba.
I tried to tell this guy earlier in the season how good he is.
He's a good footballer.
How vital he is to
what I'm going to say is, on Nick's point, the games that Collingwood won earlier in the year against teams like Sydney, they took it up to Geelong.
Yeah.
They won those games. Heritia Lumumba.
Well, that was the week I told him.
He was in very, very good form.
He was so dominant. Yeah. He had the ball in absolute strength.
He was damaging. He was extremely damaging. And you look at Collingwood's half-back line, they don't have run at the moment.
And Josh says he runs like a headless chook. That's exactly what you need him to do.
Tom Langdon is not in very good form, but you don't expect him to do everything. And Marley Williams has been so-so as well. So I think if Heritia Lumumba can get some good run, some good pace off that half-back line, and use the ball like he was in those first 5-6 games, he's integral. I reckon there are a huge chance if he does that, because that's what they need right now, run.
Just let me defend myself for a second.
All right.
Yes, I did say he runs like a headless chook, and I stand by that. Because
that's all he does, though.
I stand by that because he grabs the ball, runs and bombs away. He hardly looks for a target.
But then the ball, instead of being in a dangerous situation in the forward pocket, has now broken through the lines and Collingwood's away with it.
So he does what Michael Hibberd does, except he runs.
Turns it over a lot.
I love it.
Lumumba turns it over a lot. And a lot of Collingwood fans agree.
Fair enough. All right, but you think despite Lumumba's antics, they'll still get the win, you think?
I think Heritia Lumumba and Clinton Young will not be in the side this week.
What?
Big call. I'm loving this. Big calls. And we'll wait and find out if Josh is right. But
Clinton Young definitely won't be.
Can I get a tip for that?
I hope he isn't. Yes, you can get a tip. I'm going to tip Adelaide boys by 20 points. I think they will get it done quite comfortably, to be honest. Collingwood have got
3 goals for now.
They have no run at all. And Adelaide, at the moment, Ricky Henderson off that half-back flank, along with Brodie Smith, have got more run than any other team in the AFL. They are just running it down like a...
headless chook.
A headless chook. They're doing really, really well. Patrick Dangerfield to start. Scott Thompson, Rory Sloan. They're going to win. I'm going to go Adelaide by 20 points, boys.
That brings us to the end of another episode of Beyond the Boundary.
A very entertaining one. We lost the plot there for a little bit. We got back on track as we...
my pen up if I can find it.
Make sure if you haven't already, at the end of the show, there's a link to our new segment, News and Views, where we discuss all the issues, have our opinions, unfiltered, good fun.
It's really, really good, guys. This week we discussed all the retirements in the AFL. Some really good points made about that. Mick Moldhouse, if you have an opinion on him, make sure you get our opinions and, because we do get into that to some depth.
Join in the discussion as well. Leave a comment on YouTube or whatever.
We analyse the ladder, we analyse the Coleman, so definitely...
And much shorter show than this one.
Correct.
Twitter handles at BTBAFL, at Garson, at JRicard, and at VKLax.
BTBAFL.live.com.au. Subscribe up in the top right.
I would like to thank our producer, Justin Westhoff. He is great. Hope you enjoyed Justin Westhoff Cam, as always.
You struggled to stay awake now, I noticed a couple of times.
Josh, who would I like to thank?
Don't know, who would you like to thank?
You tell us.
Who would I like to thank, Josh?
Valiant.
Thank you very much, Valiant. Excellent YouTube partners. Always keeping the ball rolling.
Great things.
Yep,
Beautiful.
doing great things.
All right, boys. Thanks for joining us again. Vinay, good luck to your Eagles this week.
Come on.
You and I will enjoy the week off.
Oh, we will.
After wins. So
Might head to Fiji or something. I don't know.
No worries.
Make sure you hit that like button. Would greatly appreciate it if you could.
All right, boys.
If you do, Hayden Valentine will rest himself by getting himself suspended again.
All right, boys. We'll see you next week.